Hi, I'm Kat, and this is our daily tarot. It is Sunday, and we have been doing some work. Lots of inner reflection going on with this Hermit card being our opening card of the day. We may be doing a lot of inner searching and kind of pulling ourselves away from the external environment that we've been in, doing some withdrawing, and doing it in a way of actually just wanting to take care of ourselves and tend to ourselves and look at what's going on within ourselves. Because as we can see, the Hermit, he's looking at this lantern that's in front of him, and there is this reflective quality, like, what can I see and where do I need to go next? So this is a card of pulling in. And so in a lot of ways, that's how we're feeling today, like just wanting to draw inward. The challenge that we're facing or that we're working with today is this card of the Lovers. So we have two major arcanas showing up as our first two cards, which means that this is a day of some kind of emotional work on some level. There could be some relationship or some interaction that is giving us this reflective quality in our lives. And consider that the Lovers card is ruled by Mercury. So it's how we use our words, how we see situations. And to remember that this card is ruled by the symbol of Zain, which means the sword. And it's that quality of how do you use your words? Are they cutting or are they opening? Or what way does the language that we use for exchange with the people that is dearest to us reflect where we're at and what we're going through? And it also asks us and begs of us to really make an intentional choice with our words in how we speak to one another and determine, what is our aim. The internal message of this card is like, is your aim the sacred or the profane? Like, are you trying to be harsh or are you trying to be gentle and loving? And this is our challenge today because it really reflects back on us that even though we may want something, that might not be what we're actually putting out into the world. And so there's some work to be done here. Now, the way that we get through the challenge is the fixed water card of the King of Cups. So this transformation quality in how we see things, how we feel about things. And it's so interesting, right? Because we kind of have this mindset that our feelings are solid, when really our feelings are not of earth quality. They're of water quality. They're flowing. They're like a current. Sometimes they're really intense. Sometimes they're really soft and flowing and meandering. Sometimes they're like a warm rain. Sometimes they're like an intense storm. And they're not like that consistently all the time. There is this movement and there is this flow. So this card is reminding us that there's a lot going on underneath the surface of this situation and that not all has been revealed. And so we have to let time take its course and really allow things to develop and be seen. This energy of the King of Cups is also associated with Scorpio energy. So this, in some people's training, is associated with people that we either have that are meaningful in our lives, like male figures, because it's a king, but it also can be reflective of where we need to have responsibility in our own self and where we have work that we need to do with our own authoritative character in our own inner world. So if you consider, looking at your emotions and having a little bit of a detachment from them instead of taking them so personally, and just observing how you respond in a certain situation or how they respond in a certain situation and how triggers affect them. Not that we need to avoid people's triggers, but we need to be aware of them so that we know how to respond when people are triggered and we know how to support them in that way. It's also a card that reminds us that if someone has disrespected you or hurt you in some way, to not take it as like the universe is like personally doing this to you, but more take it as like, okay, great, that's not what I want. I want something different, and to burn the bridge behind you, because this card is a card of transformation, and sometimes there has to be a letting go of things or a death of things in order for something new to be reborn. So we are doing some work and some deep emotional work today. Now, the overall outcome for the day is the Nine of Pentacles. So we have a lot of nines today in the way that the Hermit is a 9 card. And this Nine of Pentacles is a 9 card, which is all about completion of something because it's the final number it's from 0 to 9, right? There's a completion of something. And it's also telling us to, as you can see in this card, the person is kind of withdrawn. They're in a place of leisure. They're also like pulling away from the world in a lot of ways, just like this Hermit card has. But they're doing it in a way that they're tending to themselves and they're putting their time and their effort and their energy towards things that nourish them and that bring their heart some sense of peace. You can see that she's in the garden and she's, has a bird on her hand and she's just kind of relishing herself and the sweetness of life. And so it reminds us of that. Where do we put our mind and where are we self-critical? Because again, the Hermit card, it's governed by this energy of Virgo, which is all about how we see things and how we assimilate information and how we value things. And we can often be our own worst critic. And so it's reminding us to take time to tend to ourselves, tend to our garden, and tend to this space inside of ourselves and do some work because things are still in motion. And even though when we look out at the world right now, we can see that a lot of, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of the plants are drawing inward, they're pulling down into their roots. They're making sure that they can sustain themselves through winter. That's kind of the energy that we've been going through as well. And remember that when all of that energy is drawn inward, it hasn't stopped growing. It's actually in a state where it's nurturing its potential so that it can actually have more energy to push forth out of the ground and create something new come spring. So take time with yourself and be observant of the seasons because they also work within us. I send you so much love. I will see you again soon, and I hope you have a blessed Sunday. Mwah. Bye for now.